to Mono Rants at the Movies, a podcast where we rant about films you may have seen at house parties. I'm one of your hosts and jack of all trades, Mono, and she may be a tortured soul of a vampire who feels guilty over killing humans, but at least she isn't Edward. It's my co-host and master of none, Kira.
Thanks.
What? I said at least you're not Edward.
Yeah, no, that is a compliment, thank you.
But yes, we decided to go with a bit of a palate cleanser this week.
Yeah, the vampire film that probably sparked my love of all vampire films.
Same, absolutely. It's phenomenal.
I think I read it first.
No, you got me to read it when
yeah,
I was in
because
my 20s.
I had all three. I had like the first three of the Vampire
equally
Chronicles.
Phenomenal books.
And I was like, you need to read it because it's so much better than the movie because there's so much more.
Yeah, and there it is. It's just better than the movie because there is more.
Yeah, and then you obviously got the Vampire Lestat follow up, and then the Queen of the Damned, which just
the movie.
The movie was a travesty.
But no, this another unintentional anniversary podcast because it's 30 years old as well.
Yeah.
But that's not why we did it. We did it because we needed some good vampires after.
And also Tom Cruise at his perhaps most enjoyable outside of Edge of Tomorrow.
Lestat. Now, there is a vampire you can fall in love with.
Yeah, you don't want to, realistically.
Yeah, but
like, it's probably not a good idea.
No, but like you just can't help it.
In fairness, even his own ma gets pissed with him and leaves.
He's one of the great vampire characters, full stop.
He is.
He really
and
is.
Like to the point where Anne Rice, who was very much against him playing Lestat, when she saw his performance, wrote him an apology letter and then proceeded to rave about him for all time.
She took out a 2-page spread in like the Times or something like that, saying how great the movie was.
Yeah, and did apologise to him.
But his portrayal is amazing, but just the character of Lestat is fantastic. Was more what I meant. But yeah, Tom Cruise's portrayal, it's one of his all-time great performances for me anyway. Yeah. And it's so unlike anything else.
If you were ever worried about, if you ever were like, if you've seen, the Oprah footage where he's like jumping on the sofa.
The infamous couch jumping.
And everyone was like, oh my god, it's like, who the fuck, Tom Cruise never do that. I was like, yeah, you've obviously never seen him dance around with a corpse.
He is, he's just so good in this. Like, it's everything about him. Like, when he's menacing, he's great. When he's jokey and jovial, he's great. When he's terrified of Louis later on, he's great. Just all of it is so fucking good. Just
that edge of derangement.
It's that.
But, well, also being like overly brash.
It's hammed up.
It's enough ham.
Well, no, it's weird. It's like, it's not that Tom Cruise is hamming it up and chewing the scenery. It's the character of Lestat is hamming himself up for Louis, like, if you get me. Yeah, but like Lestat is the hammy one, not Tom Cruise as Lestat. Like,
Lestat is the showman.
Oh, yeah, it comes across in spades, and I think I said when we were watching it, because we only did one watch of this film, because that's all we need to do. Because I've seen it a million times.
Side note, we have a really old DVD of it.
Oh, it's so quiet.
Just in case you also haven't caught by now, it's Interview with the Vampire.
It'll be in the title.
Yeah.
We've said Lestat and Louis and Tom Cruise, and people will pick up on it.
It's a very, very old DVD, so much so that I think it doesn't even have a menu, it just starts. But it's also really fucking quiet, so we have to watch it with subtitles. Although we watch everything with subtitles, but it's really quiet.
It's exceptionally quiet.
Yeah, be aware that older copies of it are quite old.
I have had worse difficulty watching this because one of my weird fond memories of this film is watching it on a bus in Spain when I was on a scout trip.
Oh, when you were
they only had the Spanish copy. And
who cares?
None of us spoke Spanish, but I had seen the film at that point so many times that I was basically, if not translating actual lines, just giving everybody the gist of the conversations that were happening the whole way through it. Like, I narrated that film for people. That's how well I know this film.
It's a great film.
It is, but shall we go for a summary before we continue, filleting this film? 200-year-old vampire Louis tells his story to a journalist and attempts to paint his life of adventure, mystery, magic, love and heartbreak as torturous and boring. But the journalist knows better because he's seen the Twilight saga and knows Louis' tale is one of the greatest vampire stories of all time.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Do you know what's not?
What?
It's fucking score on Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes and whatnot.
Well, what's great? I didn't actually look at it because I just assumed that people like this film.
Well, it's not terrible. It's 62 on Metacritic, 63 on Rotten Tomatoes, and 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
But, I honestly thought on each of those sites it would have been... I thought it would have been, 8.5 on IMDb, and, the 70, 75 on Metacritic and stuff. Because it's got a massive cult following.
Yeah.
Well, I thought. Is it just me? You?
It's just us, the weirdo freaks who love an Anne Rice vampire.
But to me, this was always a big cult vampire film.
Yeah.
I know my sister loved it as well. That was how I first saw it. My sister probably watched it in the cinema because she was obsessed with Brad Pitt.
Yeah. But that era Brad Pitt too, early 90s Brad Pitt, Thelma and Louise Brad Pitt. Oh.
I just know that she was incredibly jealous of Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, yeah, no, 90s era Brad Pitt. Oh.
He's still a very handsome dude.
Yes, no, he is still a disgustingly attractive human being. The long hair and the pouting and the green eyes, just,
Yeah, but one thing before I forget it, actually, just all the vampire makeup looks great.
Well, it was Stan Winston.
Yes, but in particular, Claudia's transformation.
Yes, the transformation scenes are just... you
did have praise for Twilight when Bella's filling back out when she turns to a vampire, and that looked okay.
But when you look at this
is like
so
20, 25 years previous,
so
and it looks so amazing.
Her hair, it's the
hair curling back up, yeah.
And getting the shine on it, because it's so, she is like a little... horrible street urchin.
Well, yeah, she's
dying of the plague.
Like a dirty child who's dying, and
malnourished, and there's no shine to her hair. It's all dull, and there's no she's got that deathly pallor on it. Well, obviously she does because Lou's after draining her.
But then in a matter of seconds, she's this
bouncy, full of life child,
like Victorian rich child, aristocratic child.
The hair I think that was her own hair. I think it might have been a wig actually because it was so bouncy.
I have no idea.
And then also this great scene where she cuts it all.
That's fantastic.
But that's why I think it might have been a wig. But yeah, she's
her performance as well.
A little Lestat treats her as a porcelain doll.
Basically, yeah.
He dresses her up and keeps her as a child.
Well, I mean, she is in effect no more than a tool or a toy to him because she's only there to keep Louis around. But Kirsten Dunst in this is amazing as well.
11?
11 or 12, but just a powerhouse of a performance, particularly in that scene where she cuts the hair. And all the stuff around her.
And her not being able to grow up and the sadness. Well, it's not even that, it's a melancholy. Actually, Kirsten Dunst in Melancholia is very similar to Claudia in this. The performance is that deep internal sadness.
And the depth of emotion and the life that she gives to that character is just it's almost unreal for how little she was like. Yeah. And when she's screaming at Lestat and Louis, and then even the stuff later on when
when they're in Paris.
And is it Madeline? She wants to get Madeline to turn her or to be turned so that she can
give her to me. You did this to me, so you give her to me, and then can fuck off and not have my responsibility.
Even not the anger stuff, but even the sadness of her having to give up Louis when she's talking about how, Armand said without saying to her, let him go. Yeah. Let him go and you're holding him back. Yeah. All that stuff, like the sadness that she portrays there and the love that she has for Louis, it's just a really incredible feat of acting.
And the fact that she's aware that because of what they did to her, because they turned her so young, she will always have to be dependent on somebody else because she can't survive.
Not in any proper way.
She needs, if she wants to exist the way she has been existing, she needs somebody as a parental figure. Yeah. And she's not Zim, she doesn't have robot parents.
Yes. She could potentially survive, but that's...
But she would have to hide or...
Well, she'd have to live like Louis does, and that's something that Lestat points out when he's like, we can live on rats. And he's like, well, if you call that living, I call it surviving. Yeah. And that would be what Claudia would only be able to do. She'd only be able to survive as she is, not...
Yeah, she wouldn't be able to rent rooms or have any of that, especially not the life she's accustomed to. Yeah. And it's so sad for her. It really, really fucking is. Her whole story is so tragic from start to finish.
Yeah, and Louis you do have some sympathy for, but it does get tested.
He's a whingy bitch.
He is a whingy bitch, and he always was.
He comes across more whingy in this than he actually is in the novel.
Yeah, they do.
Because Lestat does torture him a good bit more in the novel, just by withholding information and things like that. You don't get that in the movie, that Louis wants answers and he wants to know about this and he wants to know where they exist in the world and in God's plan, because his brother is the impetus for his descent into...
religion plays a much larger role in the novels. Yeah. In all the novels. But not so much in...
No, but in the novel, his brother is very, very pious. He's very devout. I think they're trying to send him off to, be a priest. Yeah. Or to go and study.
Go to pastor school.
Yeah, basically. Well, go to the seminary. They're a French family. They all speak French. Yeah. They're not Creole. the way they are in this. They are an aristocratic French family who had come over, and this was like they were working the land, like they were slave owners. But it's the brother's death that is the impetus. Whereas in this,
it's wife and child.
It's a wife and child, which he doesn't even have in the book.
Well, yeah, they don't.
But it would be too much to go into the whole thing of the brother and the brother's descent into this religious madness.
Yeah,
because he's like would spend hours prostrate on the floor, like he built him his own little like church on the ground so that he could devote his time, and he'd go in and find him like lying prostrate on the floor for like hours on end, and he wasn't eating, and he was starting to kind of wither away essentially. So he'd watch this, and then having somebody like Lestat approach him and tell him that he's of the devil. Yeah, it's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, and I think it's just you don't because it's a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. It is long, but
I will say, as I was going to say, when I first sat down, I was like, oh, we haven't done a 2-hour movie in a while. This is going to feel really long. No, I was absolutely just like enraptured the whole way through from start to finish, like I am every time.
It's like broken down into like kind of 3 acts.
Well, yeah, but even then, the story moves along so neatly as well. There's never
Anne Rice wrote the screenplay for this originally because this had been shopped around since the book was published in the 70s.
She optioned the movie rights before the book was even published.
Yeah, no, people were like, ooh, this is... And it had been going around for a while, so she does have screen writing credit. It was very heavily rewritten by Neil Jordan, but he doesn't have... It was to do with like writing skills.
WGA contracts and stuff like that. Yeah, he wasn't allowed to have the writing credit. So on IMDb, it's him as the director and her as the screenwriter and nobody else. And I was a bit like... How, considering what we knew about her not being happy with certain elements of the film before its release, I was like, if she was a screenwriter, surely she would have known all this. But no, she wrote the script way back when, and then it got shopped around for a while.
They tend not to touch a lot of the Claudia elements because the character of Claudia was based subconsciously on her daughter that passed away.
Yes, that's right.
So they kind of they kept the Claudia. They didn't mess with as much of the stuff that happened with her. Yeah. And her story.
I did see on IMDb, they were like, an awful lot of the homoerotic subtext has been removed. I was like, well, for starters, it's not subtext in the book.
God, no.
It's barely subtext in this film, and it's all still there. Like... The only thing that's not really there is like them sleeping in the coffin together.
Making Louis sleep in the coffin with him, and Louis like, I don't really want to, and he's like, no, we must do it for safety.
Like this is,
but there's no sexual drive behind it. It's a companionship, and I like.
Let's call it not homoerotic so much as homoplatonic.
Yeah,
but it's
bromance.
It's great. No, it's
a bit more than bromance. It is a deep love and a connection, but there's not a sexual element to it. That drives you removed when you become a vampire.
I feel like
it's almost a
I feel like that's what Stephanie Meyer was going for with her, like vampires all having mates, but just they basically they just come across as couples. Yeah. Whereas in Anne Rice novels, all the vampires do have companions. Yeah. And it's not about romantic love.
But it's just about who can I go through eternity with that I won't get bored of and that I still find interesting and I enjoy spending time with. It's that.
Yeah. And I do love the addition of, you don't really get it in many vampire mythologies and like series, but in the Anne Rice ones you do get this thing where vampires get tired of or don't have the stamina for immortality.
Yeah, not many have the stamina for immortality.
And they touch on it in this, but you get it a lot more in the books as well. But
they go into the fire when they're around 500-600 years old. They willingly walk into the sun or go into the fire because they're starting to lose it. And they were saying like the memories start to pile up.
Yeah, and it's not the typical thing of immortals of, all the people I love have died or anything like that. It tends to be
the world
has changed so much around them. They just can't function in it anymore, really. And they're just like, well, if it's like this now after a few hundred years, what the hell? Like, I won't even recognize it in a few thousand years. Yeah. And you get some who can kind of take naps and come back up and be reinvigorated.
You get a lot more of that in the Vampire Lestat.
But I like that they touch on it here.
The Damned, it builds on that a lot more in that whole thing, and some of the stuff that happens actually in the first book of the movie makes sense, like the Theatre of the Vampires and why that exists.
That was one of my great joys of reading the books, actually, was getting all the backstory for the Theatre
of Vampires.
All that stuff's really fascinating in the books. That's where the religion really comes into it.
Like, I remember watching this. I think this might have been a Channel 4 late night movie. again. Another one of the little gems I would have come across.
For me, I think Neve might actually have loved it so much she might have gotten a copy of it on VHS. Yeah. If not, then it was taped off Channel 4 on VHS.
Good old Channel 4, Saturday night on Channel 4. You used to get really good movies. During the afternoon, they used to do the old war movies. I used to watch them with my dad.
This did get heavy play on British and Irish TV when
because it's
when
a
it
Neil
came
Jordan
out.
film.
Well, partly because it's a Neil Jordan film, but also just for whatever reason, I don't know. It was in a heavy rotation. It would be on TV 4, 5, 6 times a year every year, like from 95, 96 onwards.
Yeah, no, just mad for it.
And every time it was on, I just because I had seen it so many times, didn't matter where in the film it was. Let's watch the rest of it. But we talked a little bit about Louis there, but one of the only things that I don't like in the film as a whole, and I get why it's there, but if your character is a 1700s slave owner, that's not a great position. How do you justify that? Oh look, the slaves like him. All of Louis' slaves love him.
Yeah.
But is it Yvette?
Oh, Thwandi Newton.
Yeah, and she's great in it, but it's very much like, oh look, we love our master.
Yeah,
and we are concerned for him.
It's like they're trying to soften the blow.
Yeah, he's the good slave owner, because otherwise you're going to be like, okay, yeah, Louis is our main character, but he was still a slave owner.
Yeah.
It's in the books as well.
He still owned a plantation because in the books he speaks highly of the next plantation over, and the woman who's running it was the eldest daughter. The father has died. There's no sons. And she had started, there's like rumblings.
Yeah.
From like up north of shit's gonna possibly start coming down.
Yeah.
And like he's not really fussed with it, but she's started to like free her slaves and pay them and stuff like that. And they speak quite highly of that. And he does, before he burns the plantation to the ground, is like, you're all free. And I was like, who's going to believe them? Yeah, Master went crazy, stopped eating food or drink, wouldn't come out during the day.
Not Master went crazy. Master is the devil.
Like, we're out. Like,
Master is the devil.
He's eating all the chickens.
One of his devil friends killed a bunch of us. He ate all the chickens.
Chickens.
And then freed us after burning his house down.
And then burnt his house down. I love it when he's going around with the torch and it's so dramatic and he's got the big puffy sleeves and he's trying to keep them out of the way.
I will hold my hand up and say I don't know an awful lot about like the end of slavery in America and freed slaves and things like that.
I'm pretty sure there would have been paperwork.
No, well, not just that. I know that it was hard enough for a freed slave to stay free.
Yeah.
Even if they were legitimately freed.
Yeah, like to be...
That story's about like devils and devils freeing you. Probably not going to go down that well.
No.
But yeah, no, it's one of the only things I don't like is, and it's just, I don't know, actually I don't know what they do with it in, because we haven't seen the AMC series.
No, I'm really interested in watching it. We can't unfortunately get it here.
Yeah, well, legally anyway. But yeah, just the whole like, the nice slave owner thing is a bit...
Yeah, it's a bit heavy-handed. And at least I do enjoy the aristocracy of New Orleans in all their French finery.
That scene is great as
fops.
well. All of them in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And
she had her delicious fop there killing her husband.
Yeah.
He's like, how do you know? Read her mind. What? Read her mind.
Well, yeah, there's
the way Lestat is like, oh, you can't do that? Oh, well.
There's nothing...
I'm not going to tell you how.
There's nothing wasted in this film.
Yeah.
Like in any other film, that could just be a story about them starting to hunt, or it could be...
No, it just pops right in.
It could be about how Lestat hunts, or it could be about... But, you know, just one thing could be the purpose of that scene. That scene tells you how Lestat likes to go about hunting, because that's when Louis is narrating about...
3 a night.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. And that no wonder they're fishing all those bodies out of the Mississippi. Like... It's hell.
It's also Lestat trying to manipulate Louis into killing hunting, and being like, look, it's okay. These are murderers.
They're beneath us. They're murderers.
They're evil
it's fine.
people.
Like, yeah.
So it's one of those. It's one of the arguments that Lestat loses, and it shows their developing relationship as well. Like, there's nothing. There's no scene wasted in this film. It doesn't have a whole lot going on in it. Like, better people than us have probably broken this film down, but I don't care. I love it, and I want to talk about it. But Lestat himself is just...
No, Tom Cruise is. Even though he's missing for a good chunk in the middle.
Well, it's more, I'd say it's kind of... It's the latter part of the film that he's missing.
Yeah.
It's the last kind of act and then shows back up at the end. Like any true movie monster.
Especially when he shows up after they've dumped him in the swamp.
Oh, he's just What a character. Like,
With,
when he
no,
shows
just
back
the
up
intro of when he shows back up from the swamp and he's playing the piano with
he's
the,
like, I'm going to give them a
with
big
the curtain,
scare.
like over the
Yeah, big
draped
scare with
over
the
it.
door and then play the piano with the curtain draped over me. Like, it's
Dramatic
as fuck. It's
you know
it's safe on
he's
Beeblebrox
practiced.
being like, which is the most nonchalant chair to be found
Yeah.
in. He sat at the bottom of that swamp thinking, what's the most dramatic way I can come back into their lives and scare the shit out of them?
And then climbing up the ceiling.
It's pure Lestat. It's not ridiculous because, yeah, he'd absolutely do that.
This is one, Claudia, you've been a very, very naughty girl.
When he says that to Claudia, I was just like, hello, all of Bill Nighy as Victor in the Underworld films. That's where you got it from.
It's so good.
And just, there's some life in these fingers yet kind of stuff. And he's so brilliantly dramatic in every way. And even when he's joking, when he's dancing around with the corpse of...
there's life in the old girl, yes!
Yeah, he's got so many brilliant lines like that just... When before he actually picks up the woman that dances around her and he finds Louis and he's like, my Louis, my martyr. And he just finds the whole situation so hilarious. He's like, Louis, you have been eating rats and torturing yourself over killing people and not killing people. And when I finally find you...
You're eating a child.
You're eating a child. That is just classic.
He's like, couldn't have planned it better.
Yeah, he's just so brilliantly manipulative of a character as well, because like he makes out to Louis like he's turned him because, he wants to kind of teach him a lesson. But really it's just because he wants Louis' big house and all of Louis' finery.
Yeah, because he's broke.
And then he makes out like he knew nothing. And I'm going to give you the choice. I never had. Which is true. But he's like, I never knew I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah,
he knows it all.
Yeah.
He didn't know it when he was first turned.
No, because his maker went into the fire.
Yeah, he got turned and his maker killed himself immediately. And then he was like Louis and had to go and find this stuff all out himself. By the time he turns Louis, he knows a good portion of it.
Yeah.
And he could give Louis a lot of the answers Louis looking for, but he's like,
it's about
no, I didn't get it.
30 years from when he's turned?
I think so, yeah.
And then it's about another 50 years, it's another 20 years that they're all together in New Orleans as a family.
I think it's 30 because he says when he takes her back to show the shop, he's like, I had avoided this area for 30 years and yet somehow I managed to find my way there without an upward glance.
Yeah.
So yeah, the time is very kind of fudgy in this, in terms of you don't really get many set dates for things or how much time has passed, but it really works in its favour. Like,
yeah, because they're vampires, they don't notice.
Yeah, it's
time
that they don't
has
notice.
A different meaning for them,
and you get
like
the sense
they
of
live in that same beautiful house in New Orleans in the Garden District for 30 years.
But you still somehow
not
get the sense
giving a shit.
You still somehow get the sense of time passing, but
it's fashions.
It's really subtle stuff, but you get the sense of I don't know how many, but a few years have passed. Like even just between. Like in the early stages of the film when he's turned, when they're in the plantation, him burning it down and then going to New Orleans, like it could just be viewed as their first few weeks together. Or could be their first few years, could be their first few decades. It's just, it's fudgy and I like it.
Well, I
think
really the
fleeing
works. From the plantation house is quite early on.
Yeah.
They can hide easier in the city.
At one point he does mention something about a few weeks. Oh no, that's later on when he's talking about after they kill... or think they've killed Lestat before they go to get
book passage, and in the preceding weeks they pack up the house. So
so Lestat's only in the swamp a few weeks. Yeah.
But apart from that then it's like, they travel around and I think it's supposed to be about 10 to 15 years that they travel before ending up in Paris.
Yeah, I always get the impression that it's late 1800s when they leave.
Like they'd go to Egypt and be scouring the libraries, and they have all the time that they need to do that. Yeah, time is not an issue for them.
The impression I get is it's like late 1800s when they leave America, but it's early 1900s by the time they actually get to Paris.
Yeah.
And start to get their
judging by
answers.
The fashion as well.
Well, that's where you'd go.
I was going off the women's fashion.
And
the
also,
back bustle and not the side panniers anymore.
Well, also the fact that when he leaves Armand and all the stuff that happens in Paris, I don't think takes very long. But after he leaves Armand, one of the first things we see him doing is going and seeing some early cinema.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that very easily kind of dates it.
1920s would have been
somewhere around then.
Is the train
Yeah.
coming at the screen that scared the bejesus out of audiences.
And even Armand, who's really not in it for that much.
No. Oh my God, Antonio Banderas.
You get so much of his character as well.
He's so good.
He's so good, and he's somewhat sympathetic, but he's also not manipulative, but really like malicious isn't the right word either. Sociopathic, maybe?
Yeah, he
like
wants
he's
it.
quite happy to cut the other vampires, like let the other vampires get killed just so he can go with Louis because they don't serve him a purpose anymore.
Yeah,
he doesn't
bored
have
of them.
Yeah, like he could care less whether or not they live or die. He knows that Louis is going to kill them, and that's just for him. That's just as good as him and Louis leaving together.
Does he see them as stagnating, and he's afraid that because this whole reason that he wants Louis is that he doesn't know how to fit in
anymore
because they've been secluded in this theatre and are just festering on their own. They're not getting any fresh blood in. They're like,
he constantly calling them like decadent and luxurious and that kind of thing.
Yeah, whereas these are out in society and interacting with mortals and staying abreast of like current situations and trends and things like that and how things work and have been able to
survive as well because
they all think
it's
they
more
have
in
to
the
hide.
books, but in this, you get even just in the movie alone, you get the impression that they all stay together because they feel like they have to stay together. Like that catacomb is full of coffins and it's all of them together, and I get the impression that it's like
love it when he sets it on fire and they're exploding out of the coffins.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, we'll talk about the visuals in a bit, but just that you get the impression that these vampires they have their show to kind of
lure people in.
Well, and keep some money coming in.
Yeah.
So that people don't raise too many questions kind of thing. But then he comes across just these two who have been out in the world doing their thing, searching for answers, but they've searched all over. So like they've survived all over the world. Like you said, they've seen a lot of the changes. Yeah. They know what's going on. Okay, the little one can't survive, but I can take the big one and learn from him.
Yeah, shame about the little one.
Yes.
But also he's like, I can't save her. I can save you.
Yeah, well, he could maybe have tried.
Yeah. Well, no, like when they come for them.
Yeah.
It isn't like he's not in the group that comes from. It's your one with the flame red hair.
Yeah, but when they get them there, Armand is in the building. He can hear them calling and he knows what's happening. And that's why it's so
they're
funny.
putting him in the fucking coffin and you were going, ow, my head.
Ow, my face. They were out my head. Ow, my chin.
You will be bricked into a wall.
When he gets bricked in and then Armand shows up to unbrick him, he's all like panicked and like, I got here as soon as I could. It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, he was like, I could
you waited until the little girl died and then you came to save him.
I could only save like one of you. I couldn't get to her in time.
But don't know when Louis goes on his rampage then.
Yeah, did they not expect retaliation? They all stood there and laughed as he made his way down the tunnel to that room.
Yeah, it's a weird one that they don't expect any retaliation whatsoever. Well, Santiago.
Yeah.
He's expecting retaliation. And he's great as well. But no, just the visuals of that scene are the whole set, the theatre of vampires set and the catacombs beneath it, they're just beautiful sets.
There's something, with the shot from the stage out into the audience, because they're all like piled in on top of each other and it's all like stacked.
Yeah.
So everybody's got a clear view of what's going on.
Mm.
Also, we were discussing whether or not you're one in the audience who's like, take me, Monsieur Vampire. And he's like, wait your turn.
Whether or not she's a plant.
Because it breaks the tension in the audience and everyone laughs and is back into it. Because they'd all gotten a bit like, I don't like
it's getting a bit serious and a bit...
I don't like... Yeah, I'm uncomfortable. And then she says that and everybody laughs and goes back into it again.
Yeah. But Santiago's just... a really small bit, but just so fun from his introduction, just playing with Louis. And Louis' disappointment of, I have searched the world for other immortal beings.
And I found a fool!
And this is what I found. I found this fucking jokester.
No, I when he's on stage though performing his death.
Yeah.
And the whole show, I love the monk going down the well, coming back up again.
Yeah, and then falling back down.
And when they realise the gag is vampires playing humans playing vampires.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah, well, how avant-garde is what Claudia says. And Louis is just, no.
One of my favourite scenes from Stargate Atlantis is the Wraith putting on the makeup to look human.
Yeah.
Because it's a dude in Wraith makeup putting on more makeup over it. It's the exact same thing. I love it. I thought it was fantastic. But it's also how it's their version of hiding. Because they're feeding on stage.
Yeah, yeah. What I like about that as well is it's so very kind of showy and flamboyant, and what it is an absolute Lestat thing to do.
Oh yeah.
let's put ourselves out in the public but hide in plain sight.
We'll do it on stage and call it a show.
Yeah, we're making fun of them. And like it's such a Lestat thing, and as it turns out,
like nobody would actually do that. Nobody would be so brash as to do something like this in public. Like, the public will make an excuse for what they think it is, and it'll be because it's invitation only as well. It's like this really exclusive thing, and people are like, oh, you know, I got an invite to go to this, and nobody ever really talks about it. They're like, oh, well, you'd have to have been there to understand it, you know.
When Louis is thinking about Lestat and gets caught out by the other vampires who can read his mind, and he's talking to Armand and says, did you know him? And his response is, knew him well enough to not mourn his passing. Yeah. Great line for starters. But at that point he should be like, well, hang on, did Lestat set this place up? Because it turns out he did. But
you don't find that out.
No, you don't find that out in the film at all. But
because he's actually there in the book, he shows up and confronts him.
I can't remember that bit.
Yeah.
It is. It's an absolute very Lestat thing to do.
It's just making a fucking show, boys.
Yep. Even as I said, just the two of them, Santiago and Armand, not on screen for very long. You get more out of Armand, obviously, but just such great characters as well.
Yeah. And
the fashion at that part of the movie. All the furs and the top
hats and
capes and canes.
Oh, love it. Oh, so good. And I love also as well, there's a very subtle change in Claudia's fashion after the death of Lestat, or after they leave Lestat.
Yeah.
That beforehand she dresses very much like a doll and a child, and like she makes the point of having the dolls that look like her.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's when you get kind of like how old she is when he gives her the new doll, and she's like, why do you give me a doll every night
of the same year?
And he's like, look, some of these, they're so old, they're tattered, and you're like, how long has he been giving her dolls for? That's where she has the Creole woman hidden in her bed.
Yeah. But actually just before that, the stuff that kind of leads up to that, they're like happy life together.
Yeah.
I fucking love all the montage of Claudia just killing everybody, killing the seamstress and the piano player.
But but in all of those, she's like a little doll.
Yeah.
And after that, she starts dressing like an adult. She's in the adult fashions. Even just before that, when she goes to talk to Louis, the nightgown that she's in is a very like adult, like it's laces and kind of very semi see-through fabrics.
Yeah.
And then when you see her in the next scene talking to Lestat, she's back in like her little girl dress.
And then after they get rid of Lestat,
she starts to dress older and what would be more the fashion of the time for an adult woman, and doing her hair like
when they're in that big ballroom dance scene, she's in exactly the same clothes as everyone else.
It's very much like that scene in Labyrinth.
And then at her end, she's in almost the exact same dress as
that green taffeta
as Madeline.
Madeline, yeah.
And Claudia's death is heartbreaking.
It is.
It's just
she's so close to getting out. They could have just let her go.
Yeah, she's so close. She's even like she's doing the hardest thing for her, but like the right thing for Louis.
And she's found the perfect companion
for her. Yeah, it's not just like, and not just the perfect companion for her, but that she will be a good companion to the person who gets turned.
Yeah, because she's lost her daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, they get to die at the bottom of a well thing, and it's horrible. And then when you see them as well, it's not like, another turn to stone or turn into ash.
No, this is fragile.
But there's still hair in it. Like normally when somebody gets turned, it's
like
it's
the whole
it's like an ash statue, the whole thing. But in that you can actually see like burnt hair and stuff, and it does look like, it just looks a lot more like visceral is not the word, but
the crumbled as well, because you can actually see like parts of the skeleton and stuff as the ashes crumble. They're very similar. There's a very similar Vesuvius casting. That's a woman cradling a child like that.
Yeah.
And it does.
And I think it was modeled
very
on that.
Similar to that.
But that is a good probably point to lead into just the visuals in this film are.
This film is gorgeous.
It's gorgeous from start to finish. Like the costume designer did a fantastic job as well.
That's set entirely at night. It's never dark.
Well, never too dark that you can't see what's going on.
But it's all beautiful because as well, it's the era of the oil lamp. It's prior to electric, so it's all very soft lighting, and all the furnishings are all this very rich, deep. Like, who the fuck is wearing velvet in New Orleans in the summer? Because some of them are fucking dying. Like rich fabrics and brocades and luxury, like when they're like, oh look, we forgot the budgies, let's release them. It's like, yeah, so they can die immediately. But like when you look at their townhouse, it's got all like these tropical plants and like all these like dark wood floors and everything's highly polished so the light is reflected.
It's one of those films that just the cinematographer did an amazing job as well. But there's just so many different like rich images and real striking images when Louis gets turned first, and you've got like the statues.
Oh, the statue looking at him because he's like see the world beyond the world.
Just before he burns the house down and Lestat rides out and jumps over the fire.
Yeah,
there's like just great shots like that, and then obviously things like Lestat on fire and climbing up
Lestat
over the roof,
dropping Louis into the Mississippi from the top of the schooner,
or the various like playing with gravity effects of like Santiago dancing up the
wall, Lestat running up the
ceiling. Just real clever little tricks and stuff as well,
and how fast they get to each other and torturing the girls. There's something about the way Lestat plays with the girls when he puts her in the coffin and then takes the lid off it, and it's like
so sadistic.
Oh my god! And it has that,
also hilarious.
Yeah, because it's got a little touch of Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka. Tell me more, like the elbow down. And he's like, "Oh, it does appear to be a coffin.
Yeah.
That must mean you're dead."
Yeah.
And it's like, and Louis, like, you're totally on Louis' side at that point because he's like, "Please stop doing this."
Well, again, but it's another one of those things.
He's fucking with her for his fun, but he's fucking with him.
It's more about
because
Louis.
It's more fun.
Well, it's more about Louis there as well. It's like, well, look,
she is literally
look
just
at what
toy.
I'm doing to her. I am being as horrible as I can, and there's one really easy way for it to stop Louis.
Just
kill her.
All you gotta do is kill her.
Yeah, he tries so many different avenues to get Louis to kill.
But
he's like,
the fact that the
we'll kill indiscriminately like God as well.
A fucking coffee table. When he knocks everything off it, and then you see that it was just like a board resting on top. Because I was like, yeah, you're gonna have to change out your furnishings a lot because you're not a neat eater.
But
because what's their number one rule? Not in the house.
Not in the house. No, he's whatever he kind of needs to be.
Yeah.
And when it is, he can be really sadistic like that, or he can be incredibly like seducing as well. Because that's one of the things that I think they get across really well is that when he's
charming, he really is.
Well, not just when he's charming, not just when he's trying to charm you, but when he's biting the girl that's with him at the start, just after he's turned Louis, and then there with the two prostitutes. Yeah. He's like biting these women, like drinking their blood, and they don't even really notice. Yeah. Like he's that good at what he does, and he's that seductive and
dude's got
soft
a big fucking mouth if he can get through an 18th century corset. Because he goes in for the under tit where there's a lot of boning. Like there's at least 4 layers to get through there, mate.
Good strong teeth, obviously.
Yeah, well, it's canvas and whalebone.
The score is great as well, actually.
The score is beautiful.
The score is beautiful.
It's it's very subtle. It's just there. It's and just never intrusive.
Just a general atmosphere throughout the film as well. There's very little in this film that I do not like.
No.
You know what I mean? Great script, great cast, great look to it, really good story, really good pacing, really good score.
Yeah, I didn't really know who Stephen Rea was.
At the time.
Time. And then saw V for Vendetta and was like, that dude looks familiar. And then found out it was Stephen Rea and was like, oh my God. They're like lifelong friends, so he shows up in a lot of Neil Jordan films.
He does, yeah.
But then Antonio Banderas in this, just fantastic. Even though in the book Armand is a 17-year-old boy, I think they made the right choice to like age him up.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be a particularly good look for Louis either.
No,
to go from Claudia to go to another like underage person. Because I was saying this just before we started recording. Louis is objectively worse than Edward.
Yeah,
he's more whiny. He won't even kill murderers.
Yeah.
When he does, finally, it's a little girl. And then he kind of falls in weird love with that little girl. Like, at least Edward went for a teenager, and at least Edward doesn't kill, and when he does, it is rapists and murderers. Louis is objectively worse than Edward, but still way better than Edward.
In a really weird, fucked up way.
But yeah, no, I think there's so much that I do love about this film. Like, even just little bits, like when they cut back to, what's Mallory, the journalist? Christian Slater. Daniel Mallory. They go back to him a couple of times, and the one that I love is when he's tapping the tape recorder.
Tapes out,
change the side. But it is actually a great
his convincing
framing
of Mallory that, well, because in the book, The Interview with the Vampire, he's not named. He's just the boy.
Yeah.
But the convincing of Mallory at the start.
It's a great opening. Like, that's what I was just going to go
Yeah.
into is it's such a good opening for the film as well, because it sets the tone really well.
Also, it's electric lighting and you see it. You see these tracings and things like that. You see the full effect of the makeup, whereas you might only get glimpses of it then later on in the film.
Yeah.
Especially the tracing of the veins, which apparently they all fucking hate. They had to hang them upside down for 30 minutes.
No, thank you.
It led to what they were saying. A lot of the reason why Louis is so fucking miserable in this is because Brad Pitt really didn't like this film. He tried to get out of it and everything. Rang David Geffen was like, "How much is this going to cost me to get out of it?" And they were like, "Some like
40 million or something like that." So he was like, "All right, fair enough. I'll just keep going,"
and just be miserable. So he wasn't a big fan of that at all. But it looks so good because it's just otherworldly enough.
And you're right, it's most stark there at the start. Yeah, and it makes sense because it's under electric lighting, and a lot of what you see him in after that is not electric lighting. Yeah,
it's softer.
But it's just that one bit of quickness as well. That there's that one bit of supernatural thing that gets you and the journalist convinced, oh, hang on, maybe there might be something here.
Yeah.
But then the way in which Louis describes it is just, well, I did it exactly the same way you do. It's just quicker.
Yeah.
It's just so quick you couldn't see me. Like, it's like, oh, hi, okay, so we're going to get, like, an awful lot of explanation about things here and how it goes on. And then just the framing device of narration can often be annoying in films when not done right, but it's done so well here. Because Louis in it just enough as a narrator.
Yeah, to provide just these little segues, or especially for the travelling montage and you get it as well, their travels through Claudia's drawings, the charcoal drawings. Yeah. It works on that to speed it up.
Yeah, and then they cut back to the narrator just enough that it's reminding you kind of, oh yeah, there's a reason we have the narration, but also then it's the journalists, you know, that us as an audience or like normal people being like, well, this is all fantastic and amazing, and like, why are you like this, Louis?
This fantastical experience.
It's one of the framing devices that I'm definitely more fond of in movies with narrators. It works. It really, really works in this. Like,
and I do love then at the end that you get Louis or Lestat being like, oh, Louis.
Still whining after all these years. And you're like, yes, Lestat, yes he is, and you are 100% right. And you're delighted, I think, when Lestat shows back up, because he's this real playful, charming character at the start. And then you see the real manipulative, evil, not even evil, but manipulative, coercing side of him. And then he's gone for a while. And
then when you see him again, he's very pitiful.
And then, when you see him back in New Orleans in the 80s, he's so pitiful and he's so scared. And the bit where he like jerks back, Louis just takes a step and he goes flying across the other side of the room. And
hiding in the blanket.
Yeah, and he's terrified of the helicopter, and Louis tells him, you know, it's fake light. It can't hurt you. And it's such this massive reversal of roles of him being the terrified, scared one, and Louis, instead of withholding information, being like,
grants him the information.
No, it's okay. It's fake light. It can't
but
hurt
also
you.
It's a reinforcement of what Armand was saying. Some of them aren't meant for this.
Yeah, and
heyday was that period of decadence and post-French Revolution and like New Orleans and that aristocracy, and he knew how to move in that and play in that. And once that stopped being a thing,
when the Great Binge ended and he couldn't get all the drugs that he wanted,
he didn't anymore. Yeah, he didn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah, he just spent the next 70 or 80 years hiding out in that house.
Yeah, in this rotting house.
And you know he's been able to survive on creatures and stuff before,
because he looks kind of mank too.
Well, he looks like when he came back from the swamp, but
you are worse. What you eat.
And but it's kind of, when you see him like that,
you feel sad for him.
It's vilifying and gratifying and justifying for Louis' character.
Yeah,
because he is your antagonist, and it's like, oh look, he's finally outgrown him and he's past all the Lestat stuff now. That's great for him, but you feel really sorry for Lestat, though, because it's like, okay, he wasn't great, but like, this is no existence for the great Lestat. This is no existence for the great Lestat.
Yeah, it's like you never want to see like such a triumphant, magnificent figure brought low like that.
Yeah, even when he is as bad as he is in certain ways.
Like, Especially when it seems to be of his own making, like somebody didn't take him down. He just can't survive.
Well, yeah, because
doesn't, like, he can't.
When you see him, he doesn't look burnt. So it's not, the implication that I always took from it is not that he got burnt so badly that it took him years and years and years to recover. It's that
he never...
Because he recovered from being burnt and having his throat cut and eating fucking dead man's blood.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly, within the space of a month, just by eating an alligator and a few dirty swamp animals. Exactly. After he got burnt and Louis got away from him, he lost the will.
Yeah, he was like, oh, it's too much effort to go, like, because they burned down most of the quarter, in fairness.
Yeah, and it's a will thing. He's lost the will for life, for his immortality. And for whatever reason, I'd imagine probably just Louis returning piques his interest a little bit.
Well, he goes to sleep then. That's when he goes to sleep, and he doesn't, it's
not
in
until the books. But in the movie, it's a few years between Louis going and visiting Lestat and going and visiting the journalist.
Yeah.
So I assume in the movies at least, Lestat has his interest piqued and slowly kind of goes back out into the world a little bit, crosses paths with Louis again at some point or tries to find him and just watches all the stuff that goes down with the journalist and he goes, ooh, hang on. Mm-hmm. Wait a second. I like what this guy's saying. And shows back up at the very end of the film and he's Lestat again. Doesn't look great still.
No,
but
he's
Lestat
still in his
again.
like rotten finery.
Yeah. And it's, he's Lestat again because of that very important callback and repeated line from the start of the film of relax, I'm going to give you the choice I never had. It's like, yeah, Lestat's back. And then gets ruined by fellow countrymen in the next film.
Yeah. Yeah, the less said about that, the better.
We might cover it at some point.
No.
Well, we broke the one sacrosanct rule of monorants and covered films that we didn't like with Twilight. So now we can...
just do whatever we want.
Yeah.
That was our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
The floodgates are open for films we consider shit now. This is not one of them, though.
No.
This is, still, I think, like you said at the start, it's one of my favourite vampire films. It's probably the film that made me fall in love with vampire films.
And fucking, what's his name? Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Those two in particular were huge.
Well, that was out 2 years before this.
Yeah.
And I think might have since made more money, but this is still the highest grossing
R-rated one. Fun fact, Oprah Winfrey ran out of this because it was so gory at the start.
I wish Oprah Winfrey would run out of life. But yeah, I think it's just from start to finish. It's a phenomenal film. Like, there's so much good about it. It's aged really, like, even at 30 years old, it's still really, really good.
A lot of it, because it was Stan Winston who did all the makeup effects, because they started makeup, and they pitched really heavily for this. They approached Neil Jordan about it because they didn't want to get
typecast as the dinosaur guys.
And there's a brilliant quote about it that when Neil Jordan was like, but aren't you the dinosaur guys? And he was like, no, we do makeup, like this is what we do, and had to go out and show him and prove to him that this is what we do. And then he was saying that the great thing about working with him was Stan Winston came over to Ireland, got to read the script, got to learn the characters, saying they were like literally wrestling in his sitting room.
Yeah.
Working out scenes so that when they used the prosthetics and the animatronics, they were actors themselves. And that's why I think that a lot of it works so well. Like that bit with Lestat with the throat slit crawling across the floor is an animatronic. Yeah,
because as he wastes away.
And it all sucks out of him.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to tell where it stops being Tom Cruise and starts being the animatronic.
Yeah.
The same with them climbing up and over the ceiling on fire.
I don't think there was a single point during the film where I went, ooh, that doesn't look great.
No.
And it's not just visually, content-wise as well.
Also, the stunt guys in this, the stunt guys that were on fire for the Theatre of Vampires.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Flinging themselves out of coffins.
Yeah, wire work on fire.
Yeah.
Like,
it's impressive.
It's so good. Also, everything very flammable. Do enjoy that. Because you were like, that's awfully flammable for a stone building. It's like wood, varnish, candle wax, heavy material.
A lot of accelerant.
And a lot of accelerant. But in fairness, Notre Dame went up like that. So.
Certainly more justifiable than stone vampires.
Yeah.
Going on fire. But... No, it's one that I will always highly recommend to people long before I ever started doing a podcast, and I will continue to recommend it to people.
I also recommend the book series because the book series is fantastic.
Like you,
there's 13 in the Vampire Chronicles. No,
I've only
but
read...
the first 3 can be taken.
Yeah, I've
the
only read
first
the 3.
Are work as a trilogy in themselves, and then the rest of them just kind of add on to it, but they can be taken as a standalone kind of chunk. Well worth a read.
They are, and I will probably take them as a standalone chunk, because as I was having a look on the Anne Rice wiki the other day, I discovered that she was writing books in the series right the way up to 2016.
Yeah, and
the last book that she wrote with Lestat in it went a bit crazy.
Yeah,
she had a little bit of History Channels. Aliens. Aliens
and then
became
there's the
involved.
Mayfair Witches as well, which is a
she
trilogy,
wrote so much,
which is also being developed by AMC, or it
that's
has
right.
been. There's a season of it
Alexandra
out.
Daddario,
yes. Another disgustingly beautiful human.
Yes, another shared hall pass for us both as well. But this still gets a massively high recommendation.
Yeah. I've heard really, really high praise for this series.
Oh, I really want to watch the series as well.
Because Anne was very, very heavily involved in production of the series, and she passed away, I think, a month before it actually started shooting. But she was involved in a lot of the casting and things like that as well. And I've seen bits of it, particularly Claudia.
Yeah.
And it just, people who are huge fans of her work have been like, this is fantastic.
Yeah. No, but this still...
Louis more Louis. Because because it's a series, they have scope to develop this.
They do a great job of developing the characters in this, just inside of the 2 hours. You get everything that you need from these characters for the sake of the film, and I'll always be happy to come back and rewatch this. I mean, even if we watch the AMC thing and it's phenomenal, and even if it's better than this, I'll still always come back and watch this.
In fairness, I still watch Stargate, the movie.
We absolutely prefer the TV series, but we watch the movie.
I will still watch the movie, because I love the movie as well. The two are not...
Yeah, and
one
this
doesn't
is
cancel out the other.
No, and this is one that I'll always revisit. You know what I mean?
No, it is. There's something very special about it.
At least for us.
Yeah.
I don't know about as I said, I was surprised to see the scores were not low, but lower than I expected.
Yes.
Because it's pretty much 100% from me. But I think that about covers it for Interview with the Vampire.
Yes, definitely.
Go watch it. Yeah, we haven't been able to say that for the last 5 weeks, but this one, go and watch it. Go and rewatch it, and then rewatch it as we do, because it's fucking excellent.
Yes.
It's good to be back to films we like. Thank you for joining us, guys. If you have no idea what we're talking about, we just covered the Twilight series. Go back and check it out and listen to me in pain. Well, me in pain for all of them, and then you in pain from about movie 3 onwards.
Yeah, I was starting to regret it around movie 3.
Well, we're back on track now, and who knows what we'll be back with next week, but it'll be a film that we love, we love this one. Thanks for joining us, guys. If you want, you can head back and check out our other podcast as well, Mono Rants the Boys, or you can come and chat with us on Twitter at RantsMono, on Instagram at monorants_the_boys, or you can send your own rants to monorantspodcast@gmail.com. And we'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye.